Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Ch0pper. Today we're doing something really different. We're not talking about video games. Today we're talking about the new Star Wars movie. If you guys haven't seen the movie yet, you don't have to go and click away because this is not a spoiler section. I'm just gonna go over like the basic premise and basic characters of the movie. I'm not gonna go into detail, ruin the plot or anything like that. Don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil anything. If you haven't seen the movie already, if you have, I would definitely recommend you go and see it again. It's a fantastic movie. By the way, the gameplay, you guys are going to see some Star Wars Battlefront gameplay. I picked this up the other day. I wasn't planning on getting it and paying full price for it, just because I felt like there wasn't enough content to warrant $60. But I got a really good deal out of Walmart, so I'm pretty sure it's $30 on Xbox. I got this for $40 on a PlayStation 4. So if you guys are interested in getting Battlefront, but you don't want to pay full price for it, I definitely recommend you go and check that out. But now back on to our topic: is the Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens. Now, you guys got to know, I was a huge Star Wars fan in my childhood. Like, I love Star Wars. And when I saw that Disney was making the new movie, honestly, I was a little skeptical. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys were too. I was pretty skeptical that they were going to mess something up. You know how the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? I thought that they were going to honestly screw this whole thing up, and then it would be this stain forever on the Star Wars series. But I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised at their performance here, because the movie is fantastic. The movie, the sounds and the sights and the explosions just look so real, and it's like, it honestly is like like the old Star Wars, like the classic movies. The sort of atmosphere just revamped. Like, those were made a long time ago, like about 30 years ago. So, you know, technology has changed, but the Star Wars environment you still felt in those movies is back, but it's back in HD and it's revamped and everything. So it's really, really cool to see that. Another thing is that, like, you know, just the sounds have been greatly improved, visuals, everything like that. It's just a fantastic looking and sounding movie. Now, we're going to talk about all the positive things about this movie, but also I have a couple criticisms for this movie. They're not too harsh. I'm not going to smack it too much. They're not that bad, honestly. Like, they're overlookable. It's not going to ruin the effect of the movie. So I'm going to answer the question you guys want to know. Is this new movie better than the other Star Wars movies? Is it better than the prequels? Definitely. It is leaps and bounds above the prequels. I can't stress that enough. It is so much better than the prequels, in my opinion anyway. Is it better than the originals? I don't think so. I don't think it's better than the originals, because the original movies set the bar so high that I don't see any Star Wars movie that they're going to make come out and be better than those, because you just really can't. Like, you can't beat the classics. I don't think that's ever going to happen. No matter how good the movie looks or whatever, I just don't think that you can beat the original formula, if that makes sense. But one thing, what really killed for the prequels for me personally, this is, like I said, this is definitely above the prequels. If you guys hated the prequels but you liked the originals, you found yourself not liking the prequels but you did like the originals, then you're probably going to like this one. It follows pretty closely to the original formula, which we're going to talk about in a second. That's going to be in the criticism section, but it does follow very closely. What really killed it for me for the prequels was honestly all the CGI characters and effects and that kind of thing. That just really, it made it sort of unbelievable and like hard for me to actually get engaged in the world. That's what I really found, that's what I really found in the new Star Wars movie, is that I was easily able to get engaged in the world and what was going on in that movie. It was just really hard for me in the prequels, not because the plot was like uninteresting. The plot was pretty good, especially in like the third one. It was pretty alright in the first and second. It was but like the really what killed it for me was the CGI characters in those movies. In the prequels, they went overboard with it. Like, there was so many computer animated characters, and it just made it seem fake and like not real. And in this movie, I think there are only two CGI people. Now, this isn't a spoiler, so don't worry. They have like the one CGI person is the new Emperor. I'm gonna call him. I'm not gonna say his name just because I don't want anybody getting butthurt if I spoil it. But it's really not that big of a deal anyway. But the new Emperor is not as cool as the new Emperor, or not as cool as the original Emperor, but he's okay. We'll see if they can develop his character a little bit more, but he's all right. He is computer generated, and then they have a scene with Han Solo, and then like these monsters, and those are computer generated also. You can't really have real life things for those, or any things that look even remotely like real for those, just because if you guys haven't seen it, you'll see why in the movie, and for those of you who have seen it, it'd be really hard to do that in real effects. So that's what kind of killed it in the prequels for me. This one, everything, there was minimal computer generated stuff, and it just felt very real. It felt like the old classic Star Wars atmosphere, classic Star Wars plot. And if you guys are a fan of the classics, like I said, you're probably going to love this movie. Now, I want to say something about the casting in these movies. The casting on like the Empire, the light side or whatever, not the Empire, the Resistance was pretty on point. You have basically 3 different main characters who serve a different purpose. Like, they're all unique, but they're all very important and interesting. Now, something I gotta say, we're gonna talk a little bit about the First Order casting, because that's a little bit sketchy. It was okay, but the Resistance, like the light side, whatever you want to call them, the casting was on point. Now, Han Solo and Chewbacca made this movie for me. Like, they were so funny, and it was just great to see them come back, and that really, really made the movie for me. If you guys were like a fan of the classics and you like Han and Chewbacca, they make a great show in this, and it's pretty much just worth seeing them in the movie itself. So like I said, casting for the light side was great. It was fantastic. Great job, guys. But I gotta say, the casting on the First Order was a little sketchy, and there's only just a couple I had a problem with. I had a problem with the new Emperor, whatever you want to call him. I don't want to say his name to offend anybody, but he's not as cool as the Emperor. He doesn't stand in comparison to how, like, menacing the old one was. Does that make sense? Like, he's just not, I don't know. Well, he has to develop his character a little bit more. I understand they're making more movies, and I'm sure he's going to make an appearance in those, but he just wasn't, he wasn't really as believable or as menacing as the original Emperor was, and that kind of dumbed down the intensity of that sort of scene there. But overall, he's not a bad character. We'll see where he goes. And then I had one more problem with the casting for the First Order, and that was the general of, like, the stormtroopers. Now, I really did like Captain Phasma. That's not really a spoiler. It's a somewhat minor character, but her character was, I wish they would have had her in more of the movie. Like, she was very, like, sarcastic, and I don't know, she was just really funny to me, just how, like, sarcastic she was about things. But the general for the First Order was not believable. Like, this guy was, like, probably late 20s, early 30s, and he just didn't look like a general. Like, I don't understand how they picked somebody this young to be in power. Does that make sense? I don't know. It just wasn't believable for me. They should have had, like, a tougher looking, maybe a little bit older guy to do the general, and he just didn't really, it wasn't really that believable for me, just because he didn't have that sort of look and feel to a general. Does that make sense? Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. They could have had somebody, I wish they had somebody, like, bigger and, like, tougher than him for that, but honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's not like it's going to kill the movie for me. It was still a great movie. If you guys have already seen it, just go watch it again. You'll pick up on little things you haven't seen. Like, I noticed, like the squads, like, that the stormtroopers have. The stormtroopers look great in this movie. Pretty much the Empires always look better than the Rebels. The Rebels just pretty much, like, wear just they just wear kind of clothing, and then the Empire always has the sweetest outfit and the sweetest setup. I don't know, they just look fantastic in this movie. You'll see, like, the squad colors on their back if you pay attention. If you guys want to see it again, you will find stuff that you didn't see, like, the first time you watch it. I might go see it a third time. Who knows? I might pick up on even more stuff. But just, I want to say, as an overall, this movie is way better than the prequels. Now, like I said, this is open to opinion. This is just my personal preference. It is way better than the prequels. It is, like I said, minimal CGI. Great plot. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about the criticisms is that it does follow the original Star Wars movie, the first original Star Wars movie, very closely. You guys will see that as you watch it. It's basically the same sort of premise, but, you know, they do it a little bit differently with different characters. So it's not that bad, but they just decide to play it safe and stick to the original formula, which is not a bad idea. So it's not something that's going to kill the movie. Overall, it was a great movie. I do like it a lot better than the prequels. However, I don't think it is better than the original movies. If you're looking for something that was better than the original movies, then you're probably not going to see it in this. I hope you guys did enjoy this. I want to try something a little bit different today. This is just something I want to talk a little bit about the Star Wars movie, and I want you guys to think about the movie too. If you've already seen it, just keep it to a minimum in the comments. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Just let me know what you thought of the movie. If you thought it was good, if you thought it was bad. If you like the prequels, the original's better. I want to know that as well. So, like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy, and make sure you guys are letting me know what you thought of the movie, and I'll see you guys on the next video.